Hey folks, I'm Vainglory, and welcome back to my Graviteam Tactics Mius Front campaign. This is the Karbusel Operation, and we're playing as the Germans. So, in the first turn, we had 2 probing attacks from the Red Army. Nothing too serious. We saw a single solitary T-34. So essentially it was just infantry probes against our positions. In each case, the after-action report told us we had a defeat and indicated that we had lost territory. However, it didn't look that way on the map. But if we look at the briefing, so historically it's telling us that the 256th Rifle Division, supported by tanks, broke through the defences near Lake Gladkoe in the sector of 344th and 322nd Infantry Regiments, and advanced forwards 1 to 1.5 kilometres. The 378th Rifle Division broke through the defences in the sector of the 385th Infantry Regiment, 500 metres wide, north of Lake Gladkoe. 265th Rifle Division advance in the Lodva area against the 425th Infantry Regiment is insignificant. So we saw nothing down here in the 425th area. We did have the probing attack in here. This hill was the target of the attack, but the assault mostly happened in that sort of direction. And up here, again, we lost supposedly this hill here. So the after-action report did indicate that this was the result of the Soviet probes. However, if we look at the map, we're still in the same situation as we were. So we've got our Stugs on the move up to here. We've got this HQ heading in here with the Flak 88s. We've got some units up here that are still waiting, 6th and 7th, that will head in to bolster the lines up here. But apart from that, I don't have any more reserves to bring in. I don't have anything that I want to move. If we look at our units, so the 11th Battle Group took some casualties, but morale is high and stamina is still high. Ammunition's not too bad either. The 9th Battle Group, I think, was the one that came up against the T-34. So they're again in decent enough shape, good morale, good stamina. And down here, now was it the 10th, I think, suffered the most. But again, not too many casualties, good morale, and good stamina as well. So overall, we seem to be in decent shape still. However, we've not seen any heavy tanks. So I'm going to move on to the next turn and see what the Soviets throw at us this time. Okay, so more attacks in the same positions as before, and some activity down south now. The first battle's in this sector, which is slightly south of where we fought earlier on in the day. I don't know what this unit is. I don't think it's tanks. I think it's infantry. The tanks, I'm pretty sure, were grouped up here and up further north. So hopefully we'll be able to hold out with what we have in position there. And we just go ahead and fight this battle. So looking at the map, we've got 3 lines of attack. Down in the south, it seems to be the major attack, coming in towards the bridge objective. And that would make sense, I suppose, if they want to secure the river crossing, link up with the forces down south, or I suppose attack into the rear of the forces I've got down there. Another strong attack coming into Hill 68.2 towards the crossroads. And up to the north, we've got an advance towards Hill 70.4, but you can see the arrow finishes in 4 darker squares, and that indicates that that territory can't change hands. So it doesn't matter what happens during the battle, I'll still control those squares afterwards. So the plan is just to lightly defend that area. I've got an infantry platoon sort of behind the crest of the hill, but I'm probably going to move that down to reinforce the crossroads objective later in the battle. If we look down at the bridge objective, we've got an infantry battle group down here. The first platoon is over here in pre-dug trenches. The second platoon I've got held back from the front line, if you like. They will advance forward eventually, but I expect the trenches up here and around that bridge objective to be bombarded early on. And the third platoon is back here in reserve. So we've also got the machine gun company, which includes some mortars, down here as well, and we've got a few anti-vehicle mines to protect us. Around Hill 68 we've got another infantry battle group. This one only has 2 platoons and a machine gun company. We've got one platoon dug in the trenches along the road here, and the other actually around the hill objective itself. We've got support from anti-tank guns. We've got some pack guns, pack 38s back here, no, pack 40s actually. So they're covering that road should any enemy armour arrive. And we've also got a couple of legs over here, Lake Infantry Regiment, as the sort of last line of defence against the crossroads. So if any armour gets to the crossroads, the legs should be within range to be able to get some sort of damage on the vehicles. And our final infantry battle group has to defend Hill 70.4 and also the approach to the crossroads objective. So we've got one platoon up here on the sort of reverse slope of the hill. They couldn't dig in, but the plan is to move them down into these trenches here to help protect the crossroads. We'll see what advances across that open ground to the north. Hopefully there'll be nothing or little at all, and we can move that platoon down there quite soon. But with that, we can go ahead and start the battle. Right, so just keep an eye out for flares. We've got some aviation assets arriving in half an hour. And we've lost some commanders in the previous engagement. Unfortunately, one of them's a spotter, so we've got 3 artillery spotters, but only 2 of them can actually call in. And we've got some green flares here and here. So we've got some reconnaissance happening. More green flares there. Don't see anything up to the north. Nope. Nothing down at the bridge either. Okay. So it looks like the main assault's going to come in from this sort of vicinity. Which is too bad. I can maybe draw some troops back from the bridge area if need be. But the first activity as usual, artillery bombardment. So as you can see, this is up at Hill 68. We'll get some smoke in front of us, that's from our artillery, that's zeroing in. And up on Hill 70, we have failed Weber Conrad's platoon. And there's artillery definitely coming in here, and it's close. And as I said, these guys couldn't dig in, they were just in shell holes essentially. So this artillery is looking dangerous, and I think we'll give Conrad orders to withdraw, try and get back into safer positions. Okay, so the guys are pulling out. Sometimes it's better to just leave the infantry in situ. If they're in slit trenches, they might be safer. They're only really prone to a direct hit. Whereas if they're in shallow scrapes and shell holes, they're much more likely to get wiped out. These guys seem to be pulling back reasonably safely. Well, maybe I shouldn't have said that. Okay, so definitely a few losses there. I think most of the platoon managed to get away though. Right, so actually it turns out Feldwebel Conrad was killed. We'll continue to pull them back. Over from at the crossroads, the troops defending the crossroads objective have spotted a Russian field gun of some description. Fortunately, we've got some artillery landing up there. I think that's our 105mm Lech. What would that be? Feldhaubitzer. So it looks like the Russians have a little 45 anti-tank gun. We've got one or two of those captured pieces ourselves. It's the M1937. It's not a huge threat against infantry, and we also don't have any armour. So we'll just let our artillery try and take that out. Obviously has targets it thinks are worth shooting at. We've got some machine guns, light machine guns, down amongst this infantry as well as our artillery. So hopefully we'll be able to take out that gun quite quickly, or at least keep it suppressed. We've also got mortars from the machine gun company back here, so they have vision on the gun, or at least their commander will have. You can see there's a black flare indicating the target to the left. We've also got some infantry beginning to move in now from that same sort of position. Not many to start with, but it was obviously just reconnaissance that was ordered to start with. Edging their way forward. I don't have much in the way of machine guns. I should have had about 4 MG34s plus the squad weapons able to spot targets in this area. Not seen very much. So the little 45 looks like the crew's taken some casualties there. The gun's still intact. Another near miss. It would be good if we could capture that. Not great guns against, I suppose, T-34s and especially KVs. But if we're able to advance up and grab that gun, it would be useful. I don't think that's going to happen though. In a wider view, there's still nothing happening down to the south, and here we've got the mortars still targeting that little 45. We've got some machine guns in here, but I did think I had more than that able to cover that. I suppose that there were units on the rear slope of 70.4. The artillery might have wiped out some of those machine guns. We've now got Russian artillery landing in amongst our platoon over here. So there was at least 3 machine guns firing there. That artillery is going to cause us some problems. I guess that's its purpose. And this is the area that we had ordered Conrad to move to, or I was going to order him to. He's not moving here just now, I just pulled him back from there. So he's not going to be affected by that. Oh, that was bad. A few command units, machine guns destroyed in here. A direct hit. Yeah, plenty of corpses around. So this is also very heavy artillery, maybe 155s. So an infantry commander's lost, mortar commander as well, from that one strike. The little 45 is still in action, it's still a target. And there's another gun up here. That looks like an infantry gun, 76mm probably, infantry support. Maybe a... So M1927 I think was the model that the Russians used around this time. But it looks like the little 45 might be out of commission, or at least the crew is out of commission. No sign of movement. It looks like the gun itself might still be intact. So obviously I'm trying to be a commander and use the binoculars rather than so I can go up and have a proper look. There's still a few infantry around this sort of area. Doesn't look like they're pushing forward though. Up on Hill 68 we've got our first sight of enemy infantry. A couple of command units there. So again, this is probably just a reconnaissance for the moment. Quite a few infantry spotted now up on Hill 68. They do seem to be heading more in the direction of the crossroads. And we've got this infantry up here along the road. And we're now getting red flares, which would be indicating targets. So I need to get some artillery of my own in there. I've got some pre-planned fire missions, or pre-designated fire targets I suppose is more accurate. We can bring the mortar fire in that. 8 centimetre mortars. Some of that mortar fire is landing a bit close. Scatter was supposed to be up to 60 metres, but that, I don't think I plotted it that close to the trenches. I suppose it's possible that it could be Russian mortar fire that's coming in as well as my own barrage. I've now moved Conrad down into these trenches. It seems to be quiet down here. So we should be in decent shape to defend against any attack in this area. Heavy artillery coming in over to the eastern side of that road. That's landed right on top of Conrad's platoon. The unluckiest platoon in the war. There's a lot of Russian infantry now coming out of the trees to the east. The guys down here still seem to be in decent order, they're not suppressed. Still a bit light on the amount of machine guns we've got able to target them. And I could just see a shell passing overhead there from the infantry support gun. There's another. I presume that's where it's coming from. And another. I need much more artillery up there. My 105s are also have a fire mission up in that sort of vicinity, so I should be able to get some heavy artillery to disrupt this attack. It looks much more than a probe now. That's definitely, it's not reconnaissance, they are really pushing forward. But the artillery continues to fall, and poor old Feldwebel died, didn't he? So whoever's in charge now, that platoon, person in commands. What was that? It looked like it was, maybe it's the legs fired in the wrong sort of place, but anyway. A lot of infantry still coming in up there, and over to the northeast we've got more infantry apparently heading towards Hill 68. I do have my own artillery now falling in this sort of vicinity. It maybe needs to be pushed a bit further back into those trees though. And you can hear the mortars unloading as well. So the Russians did a good job of anticipating where I was going to have my support weapons, because we're definitely short of mortars and machine guns targeting that area. Poor old Conrad's platoon. I don't know how many men are actually left in there. And they must all be suppressed, I would have thought, just about, and the artillery's still landing on top of them. Let's have a look. Conrad, oh yeah, okay, so one squad almost wiped out, the other two down to about half strength, everyone suppressed. So let's pull him back. Once they're unsuppressed, we'll let them fall back, take up defensive positions in the rear. There's still enough of them there to put up some resistance if need be, if we can get them unsuppressed. Still a few individual soldiers visible up there. The 105 fire coming in. Hopefully send them scurrying back. It does look like that's what's happening. And then further back in the trees to the left, there are still more troops advancing from there. So this is, was it Vinga, his platoon, which was the third platoon at the bridge objective. We've decided to pull them back up to reinforce Hill 68. It doesn't look like there's going to be any advance towards the bridge by the Russians. These guys are moving a bit slowly because artillery started falling up here. Again, it looks like it's fallen to the left of that objective. So again, more towards the crossroads sort of slope of the hill. There hasn't been too much new of direct advances towards these positions here. But there are still obviously a lot of infantry advancing through the woods there. So they might still turn on Hill 68. But my mortars firing in that area again though. So that might dissuade them. But they're still in good fighting order. We're still pushing rather than sitting back. It's a good job they don't have any tanks. I shouldn't have said that, there will be tanks appear next. But what did appear was my aviation support. Not Stuka's, it looks like it's Focke-Wulf's Flight 4 coming in. I don't see any ordnance under the wings, so it looks like it's just going to be strafing. And they're strafing where there's no attacks. I'm guessing there are targets there, they must be shooting at something rather than scaring the hell out of that tree. But the attacks aren't coming in for now where I need them. That's over at the other hill, 70.9 sort of vicinity. But they do eventually come in around 60, Hill 68. Unfortunately, they are only strafing the infantry and trees. They might also go for the field gun. I haven't looked to see if that's still there. They may have been trying to hit that little 45 again. So they are at least strafing the attack that's coming in. I don't think that was a bomb that just exploded, I think that was a mortar round. Most accurate. I suppose that must be really... Having played some flight sims, it is difficult trying to shoot an individual soldier from a fast moving fighter. But at least it gives these guys down here some encouragement. Added in with the machine gun fire and mortar fire, it might actually prove to be enough. Looks like there's a fair number of suppressed infantry there, and there's lots of smoke grenades being thrown out, so that might suggest actually that they're going to pull back. Smoke all over the place from individual smoke grenades. Still a few troops trying to edge forward, but the enemy has offered a ceasefire after all, so we'll go ahead and take that. We haven't lost any territory, so let's accept the ceasefire. So the aviation might have proven decisive after all. It would have been better if it was inflated Stukas. But they seem to have done it, helped to do enough to break the morale of the Russians. We didn't take too many casualties other than, I suppose, Conrad's platoon. Well, looking at the skulls at the side, we've lost a few commanders, quite a few actually. So maybe losses are worse than I thought. We shall see. Especially down in this sort of area down here. That took a real hammering. Okay, so we got draw this time, supposedly. Control weighted area, we went down by 7%. Russians get plus 30. And overall, a minus 12% reduction in terms of forces and control. Scores were around about the same. The score doesn't seem too bad. The Russians haven't made too much of an advance on us. We're only about 5 points. But we've only lost a small bit of ground, a small number of platoons, 6%. If we look down at the losses, 40 kills. We lost almost the same number of casualties. A lot more killed than they had. 106 heavily wounded for them. Lost 3 vehicles, so that would include machine guns and mortars. 5 damaged. Captured some infantry. No guns. Lost command, lost infantry, lost a lot of heavy weapons, and another 2 spotters. That's bad. Not so bad for the Russians, but the loss of particularly the heavy weapons and the artillery spotters is going to hurt us later on. The infantry can't hold out without support. So, moving on to the next battle. This is back up in the sort of vicinity where we encountered the T-34 last time, and I expect we'll probably see some heavy tanks this time. But that's for the next part. So for now, thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this. Please leave me a comment, rate the video, and subscribe to the channel if you enjoy the content, and hope to see you again next time. Cheers!